Let's now take a look at one of Zeno's paradoxes. Remember, the name of this section of the course is reality, and paradox. Paradox, seeming contradiction, and we seem to be in a very have a very paradoxical theory that seems extremely plausible. And not only that, we're going to see that Zeno is going to come up with several arguments that are known as Zeno's paradoxes. We're just going to be examining one, but they're supposed to show motion, time, and space are all impossible, which supports Parmenides, his teacher and lover's very, very odd metaphysics. And here's the way this particular argument for this paradox proceeds. Zeno argues it's impossible for a runner to traverse a race course. In other words, to go around, it's impossible for the runner to get around a race course. It's a foot race, the intercollegiate track championship. And here's what he says, at least according to Aristotle: motion is impossible because an object in motion must reach the halfway point before it gets to the end. Okay, big deal. Why is this a problem? Well, keep in mind, you can make that same point, this same argument can be made about the half of the racetrack, right? To get to the halfway point, he has to make it halfway to the halfway point, a quarter of the way, right? And you can keep dividing it up, the entire race course, forever, because it's infinitely divisible in terms of having points. Space is infinitely divisible, right? That's what we seem to be able to do. So the crucial assumption that Zeno makes is that of infinite divisibility, the distance from the starting point S, let's call it, to a goal, to the end, let's call it G for goal, maybe it could have been N for E for end, can be divided into an infinite number of parts. And now let's see how this works. Okay, here's our race course. We have S on the left side, and we have G, the end, on the right side. Now we have a runner R. R is the runner. I didn't put him down, but let's say he's at S. Okay? S is the starting point. Well, you notice I have the Z0 to Z1. Z1 is at about the halfway point. You'll see why I'm talking about. G is the end point of the race, as we said. And Z1 is a halfway point between, or it ends at, it is the halfway point between, or it starts at the halfway point between S and G. So notice that, in order to get to the end, he has to make a run from S to where Z1 starts, which is the Z0 run. And Z2, we're actually going a slightly different direction we start, is the halfway point between Z1 and G. Again, we're dividing it in half. And notice, we keep Z3 starts, we divide it in half. And the idea is a Z run is a run that takes the runner from one Z point to the next Z point. And right, how many Z points are there? There are going to be an infinite number of Z points. Okay, with all this in mind, we now get Zeno's paradox, his argument. That is, in order to get from S to G, R must make infinitely many Z runs. But wait a second, you can't make an infinite number of Z runs, right? You can't do it. Therefore, it's impossible for R, the runner, to reach the endpoint. In other words, while we think we see these things, this is an impossibility. Very, very, very bizarre outcome.